Yoani Sánchez is a trailblazing, technology-savvy Cuban journalist and blogger who uses the internet to circumvent censorship in her homeland and shed light on life under the Castro regime. Despite limits on internet access in Cuba, she's built a worldwide following. Her articles are read by powerful world leaders and closely followed by decision-makers at home.
As long as there are people in the world who follow me, as long as I have my Twitter account, I think I have a protective shield.
Sánchez founded the Generación Y blog in 2007. It chronicles the challenges of everyday life in Cuba, including food shortages, long lines, and limited job opportunities. As a reporter, Sánchez overcomes extraordinary journalistic challenges to make her voice heard in a country where the government strictly controls the media. At first, she had to go to a cyber cafe in the National Capitol building.
I had to mix in some words in English and others in German and pretend I was a foreigner visiting Cuba so that they would sell me the data that would allow me to connect to the big global web and upload my texts.
She would sometimes pose as a tourist and go to a hotel with internet access, then email her blogs to friends outside of Cuba who would post them online for her. The strategy worked. Generación Y, or Generation Y, is translated into 17 languages, generating 1 million hits a month. In the United States, the Huffington Post began carrying her blog posts a year after she first started them, and she has more than 500,000 Twitter followers. Among her supporters is President Obama. Shortly after her 2009 blog post, in which she wrote about the U.S. easing limitations on Cuban-American travel to the island, President Obama wrote, quote, "Your blog provides the world a unique window into the realities of daily life in Cuba." Her outspoken brand of journalism has put the 40-year-old wife and mother in danger.
I have been on several occasions arrested. I've had very long and threatening interrogations. I've also been physically mistreated.
But the intimidation tactics only seem to make her aim higher. Last year, Sánchez launched a daily online news outlet called 14 where she manages about a dozen independent journalists covering politics, culture, and economic developments.
I think that we have some wonderful content of much journalistic quality that tries to reflect a Cuba in all its variety.
While the website's blocked on the national servers, it can be read offline on thumb drives and PDFs. Now, with renewed diplomatic relations between Cuba and the United States, Sánchez continues to write. She says her digital news outlets will be there every step of the way as Cuba transitions to this new era.
My colleagues from 14 share with me this dream of seeing the Cubans of tomorrow looking at the pages of our newspaper from a stand to read our newspaper from the internet without censorship.
And she's inspiring and training others to follow her example. She founded Blogger Academy, teaching other would-be bloggers and journalists to use technology to work around Cuba's oppressive regime, often in the living room of her home. Yoani Sánchez is now leading a generation of independent voices in hope of moving Cuba closer to becoming a free and open society.
There is much work ahead of us. There will be no time to get bored.